um, over here, okay? Now let us revise again over here. What we're going to do over here is we're going to go into all of this process, looking into this thing, all right? And that's it. After I go through all this process, looking into this thing over here, we are safely finished, all right? Not we are finished, all right? I mean the chapter on this process cycle is done, all right? We are safely finished on the process cycle, all right? We'll be moving to the next week, which is on how to document the process cycle again, all right? But basically, we'll be off this process already. So let us start over here. Within this order to cash, we have this one is order to cash and procure to payment, okay? Do you know what is this thing? I hope by now you know what I'm trying to say to you. It's not an alien language, you know, like alien term. You know what's alien term? Alien term means that when I say something to you, you will be like, huh, what is this, right? So over here is the order to cash and then procure to payment. And this is certain book, they will use this term called revenue cycle. Over here is the expenditure cycle. Okay, this is inside your midterm exam, inside your final exam. The question will be testing you on all the cycles, all right? It can be in anything, right? It can be any cycle. So what you need to familiarize yourself with is what are the generic process, and then apply it in the different contexts. All right, in certain contexts there might be no goods because it's services, right? So you need to be able to change that accordingly. So what I do over here is this order to cash or the revenue cycle and this expenditure cycle, both of these are almost the same in terms of the process. That's why I put them side by side over here. Almost the same, right? Almost the same, not 100% the same. Because one you deal with money going in, all right? The objective over here, let me just go to the objective of this cycle over here. Remember over here, if you want it to be effective and efficient, the objective over here is to do what? Is to ensure the money goes in. Alright, money goes in. Can you see it? Can you see that one? It means money goes in, right? The objective is to ensure that the money goes in to your company. And then this one, you want to ensure that the money safely goes out, alright? Safely goes out, right? You don't want the money to go into other place, which is not your expenses, right? Not the company expenses. Suddenly the expenses, the company is paying for one of the board of directors expenses, right? You don't want that to happen. It always goes back to the agency theory, all right? If you learn everything in integrated view, then you can see the fun in learning this thing, all right? You can enjoy while learning. So money goes in, money goes out. That's the objective, all right? You want to evaluate, you want to regulate, ensure that the money goes into your company. The money don't go into anyone else, okay? The money goes out to the legitimate product that has been purchased. It doesn't go out to any other person or any other expenses. So this is the main objective of these two cycles. And over here, you can see that they are quite related because they go through a kind of similar stages. All right, we can start from here is ordering. We got the this one is either goods, and then we have invoicing, and then we have the payments, and then In later case, you can have the reports. So these two process, it holds quite similar in the sense that you have the ordering stage, you have the stage where you receive the goods or you send the goods out, or in terms of services, all right? You're gonna do your service, all right? You're gonna like go and repair the aircon, all right? You're going to have something to do. Delivery, all right? Over here, let me just put delivery. Delivery of the task, all right? Delivery of the task. You've got the order, then you have the delivery of the task, and then you will give the invoice, and then after that, you will receive the payment, or you pay to someone. In both areas, does it make sense? Right? Over here in the cash part means that you are referring to the customer. So here is the data over here, the people first. Okay, we're gonna look at the people and the data at the same time. All right, we're gonna look at the people and the data at the same time. In this process, we can see this process goes in like this, in a similar way, but it involves different people and different data. Is it okay? You got over here, ordering is basically start from who? Ordering start from who? Just go into simple thing. You got the Shopee, right? Shopee app. You open up the Shopee app. Ordering start from the customer, right? The customer will start to input. So we have the customer. Customer will place the order, right? And they will enter all the information inside. And then this order will be generated or will be transferred to the company, all right? Through the software, all right? Or through the Shopee app. Then over here we can say the sales order creation, all right? The sales order is being created, and this sales order will be passed to the company, and then the company will, in the warehouse, we are talking about, let's say you purchase a product from the Shopee, all right? Then the warehouse team, all right, the warehouse team, they will receive the sales order, then they will have their own, they will pick the item and then pack the item. Over here, they will prepare a delivery order note, right? They will prepare a note or the sticker to stick on top of the box, and then they will send it to the logistic. Logistic will deliver the item to you. And if once you receive your item, then you can request for this invoice, right? Depending on which system you use, right? Which platform you use. Certain platform you can generate the invoice, but certain platform only once you receive the item and you accept the item, then only you can generate the invoice. This one actually goes back to this thing over here, right? This process over here, this whole thing over here, it goes back to what? It goes back to the compliance, all right? Compliance to what? Compliance to, number one, the tax, right? You want to comply to the tax. If it is tax, then what are the implications? You need to comply to the tax, and you need to comply to the standards, right? All right, you will comply back to the standards, all right? In that case, you will try to embed the system to follow the correct standards or the correct requirement. So it goes on over here. The invoicing, okay? So I was saying about the when to recognize, right? When to issue the e-invoice, right? We are talking about e-invoice, right? When you should recognize as revenue. Revenue recognition, remember? Is it when the goods is being delivered? Is it over here? Or when you issue the invoice? Or is it when the customer order that time, you will recognize the revenue already? Why is it important? Why is it important you consider this inside your system? It is important because of the data. It goes back to the data again. And this data will reflect the output, right? And output will reflect to the financial statement. And financial statement will again go back to the compliance. So at which point you should recognize the revenue, at which point you need to record as your sales in your system. It goes back to the compliance again. And this again, it might be in 3 of these positions, depending on the standards. Do you know which position you should recognize your sales? Never mind, we are not in integrated case study, so you have time. Or you have time to go and learn. When you reach to the highest level of the accounting course, you will have to think much more deeper which stage recognition, sales recognition will happen. And then you want the system to apply to that, comply to that thing. So over here, we'll have the sales. Over here, there's a sales team also, right? Sales team over here to process this. It might be, if it's not from the Shopee, it might be from the website. Then that person might have to process it and send it to this one, the warehouse team. Later, we'll look at the documentation flowchart. Documentation flowchart will detail out to you the person role and the process flow with the documentations. And it is in your final exam, right? It is in your final exam. We will go down over here to the invoice. Once it's delivered, who will send out the invoice? Over here usually is the account receivable team, the AR team. Alright, AR team will send out the invoice, and they will also do the receipt. Alright, they also do the receipt and the report. So AR team basically do these 3 things. And here is the argument over here. This AR team can fall under the finance department. Finance department, then it will fall onto the finance cycle as well. So if you look at it in a comprehensive way, each of these processes is interrelated. Now let us move into this procure to payment. The same thing, let us look at, let me just use this one over here. Procure to payment is different now. Just now it's customer, right? Customer is the one that triggers the event. But procure to payment is not from the customer, it is from internal, the company. And the person inside will trigger the event. It can be from different source of needs for you, for your company to have the expenses. One, very clear to us is the needs. What kind of expenses you're going to have if it's if it's a manufacturing, then you're going to have to purchase some raw material, right? If it's retail, then you might want to purchase the wholesale item, right? One is over here, the purchase over here might be related to your goods. What should I say? It might be related to your business products, right? Might be related to your business products that you're gonna purchase to sell. So cost of goods sold, you know. But expenses, you know that inside your financial statement, all the item inside, all the information inside just come out from nowhere. They just don't come out from nowhere. All of this is being recorded through here, this process, all this thing. And the two expenses over there we can see is the cost of goods sold, or the one that is related to your business, and one is the general expenses. It's okay. It makes sense to you, right? And these two expenses just don't come out from nowhere, right? It starts triggered from here, right? And the first one is this one, the one that is related to your business product. And the second one is the general kind of expenses. General kind of expenses can fall into the general expenses, or it can also fall into the purchase of the assets, all right? Can also fall into the purchase of asset. Does that make sense? You debit your asset also, right? Or you debit your expenses, you debit your asset also. So in that sense, the purchase cycle, certain company, they will have their own asset management cycle, but certain they will just compile all together into one. And this is where you start the ordering. That's why in the ordering over here, you start the purchase order. You start with the purchase order. So usually in purchase, you will have a requisition first, all right? Because purchase order, once it is priced, means it will go into the supplier already, all right? You're going to send this to supplier, and then you're going to get the item. So they will do one step before it, which is requisition. All right, you want to request first before you want to purchase. And this requisition usually happens from the production team, all right? They will request what they want, or from different departments, they will request what they want. So let us talk about who to enter these transactions, right? It might be from production team. It might be from what team some more? All right, it might be from purchase team. All right. It might be from any department. All right. It might be from any department. Any department in terms of requesting what kind of things that they want to purchase. Okay, from there you will raise a purchase requisition into the system. Then the system will generate the purchase order once the requisition is approved, and the purchase order over here for this case, there will be several steps. There will be several steps over here. Maybe you go through finding the vendor, all right? Because you are buying, all right? You are buying, so you might not sure who to buy from. And you go through the vendor. After selection of vendor, only you send the purchase order to the supplier. Does that make sense? Then over here you will have, after sending to the supplier, the supplier, what they do, they will send the goods to you, right? Does that make sense? Right? Once you send the purchase order to the supplier, supplier will send the goods to you, and once you receive the goods, your system over here, same with this warehouse team. The warehouse team over here, all right? Instead of you create delivery order, over here you create this one is important, all right? You will create a goods received notes, all right? A GRN. It's like notes. And this kind of document over here, right? These are the mini small document that you will only learn from this class, right? This course over here. Otherwise, if you go to other subject, right? You'll be just focusing on invoice and receipt. That's it, right? Recognition. So make sure you get your knowledge on this correct. Make sure you get your knowledge on this data correct. After that, you will send, after you have the good receive notes, then the supplier will send you the invoice, right? And in that case, your company, you will create the purchase invoice, all right? You create a purchase invoice in your system by either transferring from the system, or you can create a new item. Remember, you do your auto count, right? Do your auto count, remember? Auto count don't have the GRN in the cloud. Auto count straight away with purchase order, right? Purchase order straight away to the purchase invoice. Okay, are you all here? And in that sense, it's not complete, right? You will have the good receive notes first, all right, in certain case. So with all this, then you will record into your system. You will have your system keep track of the purchase invoice. What happened over here is, once you have a purchase invoice, you have to do the payment, right? You have to do the payment. So here the payment and then the report. So all of this will be done by mostly the AP team, all right? The AP team will be doing all of this thing over here. And this is the danger of this purchase invoice over here. The danger of this purchase invoice. So we go back to this control over here. If you have a purchase invoice in your system, it means you have to pay. Does that make sense? You have a purchase invoice in your system, it means you owe to the supplier, right? And you have to pay. And if you pay to this invoice, it means you will cancel off the invoice. But what is the danger that I'm trying to tell you over here? The danger is the money might go out to different, or might go out to a wrong person, all right? So this purchase invoice must be highly regulated, all right? You must regulate this. You must regulate this purchase invoice. How do you regulate this purchase invoice? You must put a control. This system itself is perfect, but if someone simply create a requisition, approve the requisition, go through the purchase order, or not from that state, right? Someone straight away enter the purchase invoice, for example. Okay, you use the system, right? You use the accounting system, right? Someone from the purchase department simply enter a purchase invoice, and then put the bank account their own number. All right, and in that case, when they do the payment, the money will go into their pocket. So this is the danger in terms of the purchase invoice creation. But how we control this, right? This is the part where we control the data and the people with the process, all right? To control this is the three-way matching, right? Three-way matching, you know that one, the term three-way matching. This term, not there, right? Three-way matching. Okay, three-way matching to match the purchase invoice to the good receive notes and the purchase invoice. All right, you're going to match this. Let's just go back. You're going to match the purchase invoice with the purchase order. You're going to match with the good receive notes. Then only after that you do the payment over here. You understand? You put steps into your control, into your process. This is one of the, I would say, consideration that we should have when we come about this part on this thing. But the thing is like this, all right? The control, this is the major controller. And over here, mostly when we talk about the cash over here, when we do the payment, when we receive the payment from the customer, what happened over here? The potential danger is that this cash goes into your own pocket, right? This cash goes into your own pocket. So what you want to do is you want to do a segregation of duty, all right? Segregation of duty to prevent this from going into your pocket. How come the money can go into your pocket? Simply say like this, right? You can receive, you send the sales invoice to the customer, customer send the cash to you, and in a sense, if you reroute them into your own business, into your own account, the money will go into you, right? So if you have access to everything, all right, you have recording, the invoice you create, and also the sales receipt you create, and you authorize the whole thing, you can simply just take the money and put in your pocket. In that sense, these are the two major big control that I want to highlight over here. Although there are many different, many other control over here, all right? Many different control, and that is each of these process, all right? Each of these process over here, each of these process will have its own control. And you will learn them in detail during your audit. All right, you will learn them in detail during your audit. But in this AIS, I want to highlight to you these two major control that I want to just point to you. And of course, later we will learn in the chapter 10 on this control over here. All right, on this system control. All right, in terms of the system. Okay, I will give you a break. Do you want a break?